Welcome back to Butter Sports News. Here we are again talking about the major topics that we thought were important to you and the average everyday blogger. So here's topic number one. Obviously, I've discussed my love for the University of Michigan and their football team. Well, today they played their spring game. In my opinion, they looked meh. Let me start with the offensive line. They lost David Molk at center, and now they look just pretty good offensive line, not a great offensive line. Losing a guy like him is huge. Obviously, if you watch the spring game, and if you didn't, here's a little update. Ricky Barnum is the new center for Michigan, and he fumbled the ball 3 times. Not fumbled, but he had trouble snapping the ball, and you could tell on at least 2 occasions he did not get the ball up to the quarterback. That's going to be an issue they're going to work on. Obviously, it's really early. It's just a spring game, but it's something to be worried about, I guess, if you're a Michigan fan. Then if you look at the receivers, I thought they were awful. Dropped a lot of passes. They didn't try to do too much, so that is maybe another reason why they were awful, but also the defensive backs have played a lot of games, so this is why maybe the receivers don't look as good. But Gallen is staying strong, and Roundtree looked pretty solid, but the other receivers I was not impressed at all. Regarding running backs, now, I was really impressed with Toussaint. I thought he looked good last year. I think he's starting to look even faster, bigger, and using his vision way better than he did last year. So that's something promising. But then there was Thomas Rawls, who was lean, low to the ground, ran people over. I think he scored 2 touchdowns. He was impressive. The running backs were impressive. The O-line was pretty solid. And quarterbacks, we only saw a little bit of Denard. And Denard got 1 series. They don't want to get hurt. They don't want to show anything to Alabama. That's their first game of the season. I wouldn't want to show anything to Alabama. So he only played 1 series. He looked okay, but, I mean, he's Denard. He's amazing. He can do it all. So just give him enough time. He'll be fine. Regarding Russell Bellamy, he's the third-string quarterback according to Brady Hoke. I think he was solid. He threw a good ball. He didn't throw any deep balls, but you could tell he could manage the team. And he's pretty quick. He's not like Denard quick or Devin quick, but he's pretty solid. Devin Gardner, when he was on the move, he looked great. When he sat in the pocket and tried throwing, he didn't look so good. So quarterbacks were okay, offensive line solid, running backs pretty strong. Offense looked pretty good. Now defense. Defensive line was not impressive to me. Now along the outside, Jake Ryan is just a stud. He can come to the quarterback, he's got speed, he's got sideline to sideline, he's got vision, he's got it all. Then you got Craig Rowe. Now they're using him in the 5 technique. I think he's doing okay. He looked better than last year, but Craig Rowe needs some work. So it's fine. I'm not expecting miracles here. It's still early in the game. I was not impressed with the interior lineman. Will Campbell, one of those guys where he has all the talent in the world and just it doesn't seem like he's got he needs to get angry, he needs to get mad, and he just doesn't have that yet. I was not impressed with them. Quentin Washington, I didn't see much of him. The interior lineman was pretty disappointing. Jabril Black looked big. If he learns some technique, he'll be a force in there. Linebackers, solid all the way across. Bolden, true freshman, came in there. He looked great. Brandon Hawthorne looked fantastic. I think Desmond Morgan got hurt in the game. I might have to check that, but I'm pretty sure he got hurt. I don't know how badly he got hurt, but linebackers look pretty solid. D-backs look great. Blake Countess had an interception. He's a shutdown corner. JT Floyd, solid. And then safeties, we got Kovacs. The kid's a stud. He's a walk-on. He does it all. Blue collar. Gotta love a guy like that. And then you got Cameron Gordon, solid. Another safety, solid, did a great job. The only problem I had was the defensive line. I think they just don't look good. Losing a guy like Mike Barton is huge, and Van Bergen. D-line, if people are going to run right at Michigan, that's their weakness right now. That's what I think their weakness. On offense, shut down the receivers and then put 8 guys in the box, Michigan's done. That leads into Alabama. I think Alabama's going to do that exactly. Now, their spring game just happened. I did not watch the game. I read it. I read about it. So, from what I heard was they obviously have more than a dozen guys coming back. TJ Yelton was just a running back. One of the younger running backs. I'm not sure if he's a freshman. The young guy came in. He had over 180 yards total offense. He had 80 yards rushing and 90 yards receiving, and some of those numbers around that area. And he looked pretty solid supposedly. So that's something to worry about for me. With Alabama, they're much like the old traditional Michigan teams. They're going to run right at you. They're going to run through you, and then they're going to throw deep on you. And then they're going to put 8 guys in the box, and they're probably going to give up less than 10 points a game. That's Alabama. Right now, if Alabama and Michigan played, I'd say it's a complete blowout. From what I read on the Alabama side and what I saw with the Michigan game. Now, again, this is way early, so don't jump on me because I'm showing you what I think. And that leads to Ohio State. Actually, I was on Twitter and I saw a pretty cool pick from Ohio State. I'm not sure if it was a practice or what they had. You got to look at the pick online. I'll put a link in the underbar. Kicker pretty much is, like kicking like maybe a 30-yard field goal, but around him are a bunch of fans, and they have the offensive line and defensive line, and just like they're kicking a regular field goal, they're circled around him, maybe 15 yards around him, and in a complete circle. So in front, all around. It's a pretty cool pick, so I'd check it out on Twitter, even though it's fucking Ohio State. Now in NBA news, Dwight Howard has a herniated disc in his back. So what the Magic are going to try to do is sit him for 2 weeks. I think this is a great idea. Reason why? They got nothing to lose right now. They're a 6 seed. At best, they can go up to a 5 seed. Atlanta's up by a game on them. There are 6 games left in the season. There's no reason to risk injury for a guy that is your team. You'll probably play Indiana if you're 6 seed. You're not going to fall to 7 and 8 because they're 3 games back of you, unless you go 0 and 6 and they go 3 and 3, and all that. I mean, a lot of stuff's got to happen for the Magic are. This is not worth the risk. So I like the fact that they're going to sit him. And then back to a topic I talked about the other day. Bobby Petrino won't appeal his firing. Wow, what a fucking shocker. I can't believe this is even an article on ESPN. But I just thought it was so funny that if they were even going to think that he should appeal this. The girl he was having a relationship with, or she's on paid leave. I'm like, wow, this girl gets 20 grand. She gets special hiring and she gets all this stuff, and then she gets on paid leave. Man, I'm gonna go sleep with Bobby Petrino. And then in sad news, there was an Italian club player who actually was 25 years old. He had a heart attack on the field and died. And we hope that his family is doing okay. So that's the stuff we thought was interesting at Butter Sports today. We hope to hear from you. Rate, comment, subscribe. Check out butter.net. And I'm D-Man. Thanks for listening.